Joining us now, national security correspondent for the Daily Beast and the Newsweek is our good friend Eli Lake. Eli, boy, what a great day to have you, because there is so much going on around the world that we need to sort of check in with you and get your perspective on. First of all, let's talk about reports out of Syria. There are fairly good reports. Some senior administration officials are confirming that there are strong indications that the Syrian government used chemical weapons against the civilian population. Where are you on this story? What do you know, and are you surprised by this?
We're still trying to report down if this initial reports that we saw, and there has been video of what looks like the treatment of even children from a chemical attack. This would be probably the largest attack in years, probably the largest attack since the Halabja use of chemical gas in 1989, and that was, if you remember, something that human rights groups brought up for years in the 1990s. It was brought up again before the 2003 Iraq War, and nothing was done about it. And, you know, you're seeing in this particular case, it's been about a year since the president said the use of chemical weapons is unacceptable. Whether or not you think we should be in Syria or not, it's a bad thing for the word of an American president to be so nakedly exposed to mean nothing.
Well, and because of that, what are you hearing in terms of what the response might be, assuming that this story is true? I mean, you're right. The president is on a limb here. What are they going to do about it?
I don't think they're going to do much about it. I think that we keep seeing it's almost another year. It's been a year since we heard the president say the use of chemical weapons was a red line. It was unacceptable. If you remember, a few months back, they said they were investigating whether or not he used them. They came back and they concluded that that he did. And they haven't really done anything. There hasn't been any real response from the, international community or any kind of leadership in this regard. There's been a decision to, send some kind of non-lethal aid to the opposition. We just saw General Dempsey. He was in the region. He said he didn't think the opposition was ready to handle the responsibilities of governing the country. At this point, I don't think the United States, it's extraordinary to say, matters as much as some of the U.S. allies that are taking matters in their own hands. The Saudis and Qataris are playing in Syria right now. We've seen Israel intervene at times. It's extraordinary, but this is what the Middle East looks like when America loses its influence.
Another area in the Middle East that's a hot spot right now is Egypt. There are reports that Hosni Mubarak might be released from jail.
This is a bit of a longer process. The man is at the end of his life, so I don't think him being out of jail would mean that he would get back into power. But, you can say, we call it the Arab Spring when there was a protest in the streets for Mubarak to go. And at this point, Morsi, the Muslim Brotherhood elected president, has been removed from power by the military. It's kind of like that Chris Rock joke, grand opening, grand closing. And Egypt is back to the pattern it's been ruled in for years, which is a strong authoritarian central government, and it's not going to be necessarily democratic. Hopefully, they'll have more elections, there will be civilian government, and this will be a blip in the transition. That's the hope. But it looks like, we could be seeing, another two generations of dictatorship, essentially.
Eli Lake is the senior national security correspondent for the Daily Beast. And Eli, last time we had you on, we discussed your scoop that you had an exclusive, which detailed this internet conference held amongst 20 al-Qaeda officials. This, of course, led to the United States shutting down their embassies in the Middle East regions and in various Muslim nations for about a week. You've got more information about how we tracked down that internet conference?
Well, we did some more digging, and we wanted to do some more reporting on it. There were some questions on Twitter. If I may, I thought it was largely speculation and a little bit of griping, maybe some jealousy from other reporters.
Name names, Eli. Eli, who's griping out there about your reporting?
There were a couple people. I don't need to mention it, but it was Twitter stuff. And I felt, and Josh Rogan felt, that it was important to do some more reporting, clarify it. Anytime you're dealing with stuff like this, that's sensitive intelligence, you always have to weigh the need for the public to know against sort of operational security. In this particular case, we've been told that, the channel was blown with earlier leaks that were not to us, so we wanted to get more specificity. And I think it also, and we did. I mean, we talked about that this was started because of a capture of an Al-Qaeda carrier who, was not practicing the best operational security and communications security. And we were able to discover a 7-hour internet-based kind of remote conference where you had Zawahiri delivering video messages, the promotion of this guy Nasser al-Wahishi to general manager, and it was like the equivalent of a kind of a business meeting for Al-Qaeda and its affiliates, and we were able to fill in a lot more detail on that, and so far it's been a good response.
I want to get you very quickly to weigh in on the sentencing of Bradley Manning, 35 years, with time served and good behavior. He could be out in 8. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that at this point, you really had a situation where I think the court-martial felt that they needed to send a message to other leakers. I mean, if there are other Bradley Mannings, you're going to have individuals who are in a kind of IT capacity. They're going to have access to vast swaths of information. At the same time, I do think that Bradley Manning's a little bit of a muddied case. I didn't think he should have gone away for the rest of his life. And he did, in the end, express contrition for his leak, which I think was also important. I disagreed with some of the Bradley Manning activists who claimed that what he did caused no harm. It caused enormous harm to people who trusted the U.S. military and the State Department, whether they were other diplomats or human rights activists. But none of those people ended up necessarily being killed. There's a difference between grave, the worst kind of consequence and harm being done. But, I think it's significant. And, right now, after Snowden, the U.S. intelligence community is reeling from the prospect of these kinds of what they call the internal threat.
Eli Lake, we'll leave it right there. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Always appreciated.